What's going on? My name is Francis, and if you're new to this channel, consider hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell because I post a new video every single day. If you want to become a private client, then consider applying for a free consultation by hitting the website that's in the description box of this video. What I'm going to be talking about in this video is why raising your vibration is extremely important, okay? Because if you raise your vibration, your life will just be so much easier, because most people are living their lives in resistance. They're living their lives in continual resistance, trying to be in some other moment than this moment right now. The ego is continually resisting the present moment, which makes no sense because the present moment is all that exists. And what is the ego? It's simply unconsciously being attached to the thinking without realizing it, okay? And when it comes to raising your vibration is nothing more than simply becoming more conscious of the thought patterns that we're unconsciously absorbed into, okay? Some people call this the ego. But when it comes to raising your vibration, when you're attached to your thinking, when you're unconsciously absorbed in the ego, that is what a lower vibration is. Because when you're in your ego, this implies a state of anxiety. This implies a state of fear. This implies a state of worry. This implies a state of resistance, because the ego loves to unconsciously project itself into the future. It loves to unconsciously project itself into the past. And when you're living in your ego, when you're living in your head, you're continually living in resistance, and you're not allowing yourself to raise your vibration and raise your consciousness and raise your awareness. Because if you look at this chart over here, this chart is explaining that if you're on a lower level vibration, then you're going to be more angry. If you have a lower level of awareness, if you have a lower level of consciousness, what this means is that you are going to feel more feelings of anger. And so that is connected to the ego, because having a lower level of consciousness is nothing more than being attached to your ego, because all the consciousness is stuck up here in the thinking. All the consciousness is stuck up here. And so if you look at this chart over here, this chart is showing that if you raise your level of awareness, you will feel better emotions. And when you're down over here, like if you're stuck down here, your goals are going to be so much harder. But if you get up here, your goals are going to be so much easier. Okay, and this all comes from detaching from the ego. You being unconsciously absorbed in the ego implies being on a lower level of consciousness, because your consciousness is stuck up here. You're not actually connected to the moment. You're not actually connected to your body. You're stuck somewhere else. You're stuck in some conceptual future, and you're falsely attached to some identity that you've created in your head, some self-image that has nothing to do with who you truly are. And when you are attached to this part of yourself, you're going to be on a lower level of consciousness, and your goals are just going to be so much harder to accomplish. Because you can accomplish your goals if you're down here, but it's not going to be as easy if you simply just become present to the moment, find the aliveness and the beauty of the moment right now, and now your goals are just going to be so much easier. Because if you become more present to the moment and simply detach from your ego, you're going to start to feel better and connect to the being of who you really are. And your goals are naturally just going to come into play. You're not going to have to force anything, because you're focusing on your state of being first. You're focusing on your state of consciousness. When you focus on your state of consciousness first, before anything else, when you focus on your level of vibration, your feelings, and you put yourself first, what's going to happen is you're going to be able to serve others in a much better way. You're going to be able to align to your life purpose in a much better way. But if you are unconsciously attached to your thought processes, which some people call the ego, which is nothing more than a false created identity that we've attached to unconsciously, your goals are going to be so much harder. And you can see it on the chart right over here, because if you're attached to your ego, this implies a lot of anger, this implies a lot of worry, this implies a lot of fear, this implies a lot of anxiety, this implies a lot of dis-ease, impatience. All of these things come from a resistance to the present moment. When you get up here, everything in your life is just gonna flow. It's just gonna be so much easier. Like, you're not gonna have to try as hard. Your goals are just gonna be easy, because when you are in that hustle mindset, things are hard to you because you're in resistance to the present moment. You're stuck in your head. You're stuck in the ego. You're stuck in this false created self. So you can probably achieve a lot of goals from that state of consciousness, but if you get to a higher state of consciousness, which is nothing more than simply raising your level of awareness and not attaching to the unconscious thought processes in your head, that's all it means. You're just becoming aware enough to not attach to your thinking and detach from your thinking and have awareness of every single thought that you have throughout your day. Because if you do not have awareness of your thinking, that doesn't mean that it's not happening in the background. And when it's still happening in the background, you're unconsciously attached to those thoughts and they are running your reality. It's almost like this autopilot thing, this external force that is literally controlling your life. And it's going to keep controlling your life until you become conscious of it. That's what it means to raise your vibration. You raise your vibration, your goals will be so much easier because everything that you do will be fueled with this present energy of being in a flow state because you're at a higher vibration. You feel better, you're more connected to what you're doing, you're more connected to what you're hearing, you're more in the moment, you're not in resistance to the moment. You have the vision in mind, but you're not attached to it, resisting where you currently are. Because when you're in the lower level emotions, you're in resistance to the moment. When you're in resistance to the moment, you're not at a high vibration because you're resisting what is. When you're resisting what is, you're not able to actually live into your vision. Because if you can accept what is, now you can actually make the choice to just live into your vision. But this is an experiential thing that you can only experience. What I'm telling you is not a concept. This is literally raising your awareness. When I'm using words like vibration or consciousness or awareness or detaching from the unconscious thought processes, or even the word ego, which is nothing more than a word to represent unconsciously being attached to the thinking, where that's where the anxiety comes from. When I'm using these words, some people even use words like ascending to 5D. Okay, all of these words are pointing to the same thing, but these words are not the actual thing. The actual thing is not some concept in the future. It's not some concept that you get to. It's just simply being in the moment, being present to the moment, being at a higher level of awareness, okay? And if you get to the higher level of awareness, you're simply experiencing that. And that is where your goals are just going to be so much easier, because your goals are going to be extremely hard to accomplish if you're stuck over here at the lower level emotions. But if you get to the higher level emotions, what's going to happen is you are just going to be in a flow. That's going to be the letting go of anger, fear, and worry. And I'm not saying that these emotions aren't going to come up occasionally. I'm saying that when you get to a higher level of awareness, those emotions are still going to come up, but you're not going to be attached to them. This is where neutrality comes in, where you can have an emotion that comes up, but you won't be attached to that emotion. You're not going to be invested in that thought. You're not going to be invested in that emotion. And then in the awareness of that emotion that may come up occasionally, you're just going to be able to let it go. You can get to a level of awareness where anger will come up and you can just let it go. You could get cut off in traffic and you could just notice yourself react and you could just let it go. That's it. It doesn't have to impact you. Somebody could be yelling at you. Somebody could be screaming at you. They're all caught up in their heads. They're all stuck on their egos. You know that it has nothing to do with who you are and that they're stuck in their ego. That's a conceptual understanding, but on an awareness level, you're going to be able to just not be affected by these lower vibrational emotions that are over here because you are at a higher vibration yourself. You're not going to allow these things to impact you. They're not going to impact your state of awareness anymore. And then when you get to this point, your life is just going to be so much easier. Like something happens in your life that's not going in the right direction, you just let go of the frustration. And this is why meditation is so powerful. If you are over here, meditation is going to be a little bit difficult at first because you have to allow yourself to feel all these negative feelings. But then when you simply allow them, you're going to get to neutrality. And once you get to neutrality, then you stop attaching to the feelings. Once you go a little bit higher over here, now you're just going to be consistently feeling good, but then sometimes those emotions will come back, but you can let them go in a much easier way. Just boom, you just let it go. But at the beginning, it might be a little bit difficult, but this all starts with becoming present to the moment and raising your level of awareness. This is why meditation is such a powerful tool. Because when you learn to meditate, like when I learned to meditate almost 4 years ago, what I learned is that I can simply be the awareness of my thoughts. I can simply be the observer of my thoughts rather than attached to them. And when I learned to do this, I stopped investing in all these negative emotions. And then I started to just feel really, really good throughout the day just by meditating and doing nothing. But I was almost letting go of all the unconscious conditioning that I was attached to. And then you can get to a point where you get to neutrality, and then that's what it means to just observe your thoughts and not attach to them. When you get to this point, not sure what happened there, my camera cut off, but I was saying that your life is just gonna be so much easier. You're gonna get to the point when you get higher on this list over here, you're gonna get to the point that you don't have to feed into those negative emotions as much. You're not gonna be so invested in those emotions. You're gonna get to the point where a negative emotion can come up and you can just simply allow it to be there, not in the sense that you feed into it and you're bringing yourself closer, lower to this list. When you allow it to be there, I'm saying that you simply become conscious of it and you just observe it, and then in the allowing is the letting go. When you can simply allow it to be there, your life will just become so much easier, okay? And so this is why it's extremely important for you to raise your vibration, because your life and your success will just be so much easier if you raise your level of vibration, which means nothing more than just bringing your level of awareness higher. You bring your awareness higher and you start to become more present to the moment. You live your life in the now instead of in some conceptual dreamland that we're attached to in our minds, because we're living a dream and we're stuck in the story of our minds continually. And raising your vibration means not attaching to this story and finding out the truth of who you are, which means nothing more than just being the awareness of your thoughts. You're just being aware of your thoughts. You're not attaching to 20 minutes of meditation is all you need. 20 minutes a day of observing your thoughts and learning how to connect deeper to the present moment using various techniques. Raise your vibration, your life will just become that much easier. You're not going to be living in anxiety. You're not going to be living in worry. When you get to neutrality, you're not going to be invested in those feelings anymore. And then when you get to a higher level of awareness, sometimes the feelings will come up, but you won't be so invested. You'll be able to let them go in just 2 seconds very, very quickly. You're not going to be so attached to whatever has happened or will happen. You're just connected to the moment right now and you allow things to flow. You're going to enter a flow state and your activities are just going to be so much easier because you're not stuck in your head worried about some conceptual future, but you're aligned internally with the present moment right now. You're simply in alignment. You're in internal alignment with the present moment, and you're not attached to the ego. And when you can attach to this part of it, detach from this part of yourself and not attached to the ego, what's going to happen is your life will be that much easier. Things are going to get easier for you. Things are going to speed up. You're going to get closer to your dreams. You're going to get closer to whatever it is that you want to manifest in your life, just because you're at a higher level of awareness and you're not attached to some conceptual future and some conceptual past that normally we're attached to. It's just that simple. You become more present to the moment, you raise your vibration. But this is going to allow you to live the life that you want to live. That's why it's extremely important to raise your vibration. This is not only going to allow you to live the life that you want to live, this is going to allow you to spread value to others in a much better way. So whatever occupation that you have, if you raise your awareness, your purpose is going to be a lot easier. You living your dream is going to be a lot easier. And this is going to allow you to spread that value to other people, whether you're an artist, whether you're a musician, whether you're recording videos like me. You raise your awareness, you're gonna hit more people with your message or your art or whatever it is that you do, your product or your service. Your life is just gonna be so much easier. And so you could probably accomplish all of this when you're at the lower level of emotions, but it's just gonna be so much harder and you're gonna be resisting the whole process. You're not gonna allow yourself to create space for your vision to happen naturally and just become who you actually wanna be. Okay, so that's why it's extremely important, okay? Very, very important that you raise your vibration and you allow yourself to let go of all the cluttering of the mind and the ego that we're attached to, because now you can actually live into your vision and create the life that you want and help others do the same in a much faster way. So that's all I have for you today. If you like this kind of content, then consider hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell, because I post a new video every single day. If you want to download a free guided meditation to detach from the ego and clear your mind and raise your vibration, so to speak, then you can download the free guided meditation MP3 that's in the description box of this video. Once again, if you want to apply for a free consultation, then just hit the website that's in the description box of this video, because I do powerful one-on-one sessions. Have yourself a great day and see you in the next video.